Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger. We'll check in with Jeanelle in just a few minutes. The U.S. Surgeon General warned today that the coronavirus outbreak will worsen this week and said people are not taking the threat seriously enough. There are now 46,332 cases in America. The death total now more than 600. Here in Montana, the state has now seen a confirmed 45 cases of COVID-19. That's up from 34 just yesterday. That includes one new case here in Yellowstone County, bringing the total to 7. Gallatin County continues to see the most cases, jumping from 10 to 16 overnight. Flathead County and Missoula County each saw 2 new cases today. Wyoming saw 2 more cases this morning, bringing that state's total to 28 now. Well, the Billings City Council charted new ground tonight by holding its meeting via video call. The effort to practice social distancing ran pretty smoothly, and the public still got its chance to be heard. Q2's Mitch Legge joins us now to tell us how the meeting went. Mitch?
Well, Russ, it was a little bumpy to start, but once things got rolling, the meeting went pretty smoothly. Some council members joined the meeting from their homes, while members of the city staff took seats in different rooms of City Hall. To vote on motions, council members would raise their hands in the video chat, and members of the public still had their chance to be heard by their local government. The council took written comments ahead of the meeting that were read live, and the city clerk operated the phones so that people could call in to voice their opinion. This video meeting by the City Council is our local leaders setting the example for social distancing. The Centers for Disease Control says that people should stay 6 feet apart to curb the spread of COVID-19 and help our healthcare workers not get overwhelmed. Russ?
All right, thank you, Mitch. Well, the U.S. Senate fails again to advance a huge economic stimulus bill. And Montana's 2 U.S. senators find themselves on very opposite sides. Republican Senator Steve Daines calling the measure a rescue package that is vital for the country's health and economy, and urged Democrats to drop their opposition. He said it contained billions of dollars to help businesses, workers, and health care providers. Daines also accused Democrats of trying to insert non-economic things into the bill, such as new emission standards for aircraft. Senator John Tester voted with fellow Democrats to block that bill. In a floor speech, Tester said the bill does not accomplish what's needed, such as providing more equipment and resources to hospitals or immediate relief for small businesses and employees.
It would allow an unelected official with no accountability to the American people to dole out $500 billion while hiding the receipts for months, if not longer. And I know there's senators who say, well, they can get warrants for these loans. They must get warrants for these loans.
This obstruction will create a devastating impact on American workers, on families and small businesses. They're pushing for things that have nothing to do with the public health and the economic crisis we're facing today. The issues they're pushing have nothing to do with overcoming this pandemic.
Well, Democrats unveiled their own proposal tonight, which includes $1,500 per person, more help for hospitals, and expanding unemployment and sick leave. President Trump announced this afternoon that he's extending the October 1st deadline for travelers to obtain real ID driver's licenses, all because of the coronavirus. The president says the new deadline day will be announced very soon. Montana Republican Senator Steve Daines is a sponsor of a bill that seeks a 1-year delay. He wrote the president last month that a large number of Montanans would not have the real ID by the October deadline. Montana Supreme Court Chief Justice Mike McGrath is now urging judges to take steps to mitigate the risk of COVID-19 transmission in our courts and jails. In a letter that was sent out Friday, the Chief Justice asked courts to review jail rosters and release without bond as many prisoners as they're able to, especially those accused of nonviolent offenses. McGrath says due to the close confines in jails, it would be virtually impossible to contain the spread of the virus. He also reminds judges to conduct as many hearings as possible with video or remote technology. Well, the ripple effect of the coronavirus outbreak now impacting operations at the Stillwater mine in Nye. Siboney-Stillwater officials announcing cutbacks at its Montana operations today, silencing the company's new Blitz project. Q2's Jay Cohn joins us now with details.
The temporary cuts that were announced today means a halt to all contractor work on the Siboney-Stillwater's Blitz project, that new expansion project started back in 2017. Now, the company says while surface and project work on the Blitz is idled, that both production and development work continues, and perhaps most important, it says it plans and hopes to be able to maintain the current production on both its Stillwater and East Boulder mines. The company's head of investor relations says, quote, "We're making sure these short-term disruptions do not impact longer-term business plans. We're ensuring we're well positioned to safely and efficiently ramp up operations in a timely manner once the worst of this global pandemic passes." And Sibanye stresses none of its union employees are impacted, but again that all contractor work on the Blitz project has been halted. Wellstead points out that Sibanye's Platinum Group metals operations are defined as a critical infrastructure industry by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency. That's because PGMs are essential components in many chemical and medical applications, including many drugs that are used to treat cancer. And PGMs also are used in pacemakers, catheters, and get this, in self-rescuer masks used by first responders. The company said right now it has no confirmed cases of COVID-19. Sibanye Stillwater is based in South Africa. The company is the world's largest producer of platinum and is also among the top 10 world producers when it comes to gold. Here in Billings, Jay Cohn reporting for MTN News.
All right, thank you, Jay. And Sibanye also announced a number of safety precautions to protect its employees. Those steps include prohibiting face-to-face contact with external parties, restricting the access to employees, and providing soap and disinfectants to all workers. Some personnel who are not required on site are now working remotely. Well, here at Q2, we're taking social distancing very seriously. In fact, most of the KTVQ staff is working from home right now. And to avoid unnecessary contact here on the news desk, Jeanelle and I will be splitting our time in the building. So for our next story, we're going to go to Jeanelle in the Q2 newsroom with a local story that also ties into a national effort from our parent company, Scripps. Jeanelle?
Well, that's right, Russ. From here forward, we are open. This week, we launched an effort to remind our communities about all of our local businesses and employees who need our support. And tonight, we kick off We're Open with the Stadium Club in the Billings Heights, where they're busy making and selling pizza. Now, in an effort to support bartenders, casino operators, and kitchen help at the Stadium Club, this week from 4 to 7 each night, you can drive up and pick up a pizza for just $10. Now, some of our local business owners and employees are having to get creative as we adapt to this new way of operating.
You know, we as servers and people in this industry, we look around us, everywhere around us, the city is still moving, and we have been brought to a screeching halt. And we are a huge part of this community, of this workforce. And these girls rely, lots of them are single moms, they rely on their jobs every single day. And so we really encourage you to come out and help them. We're going to be here all week long from 4 to 7.
And to make sure to let us know how your business is adapting to these changes. Now, KTVQ is also kicking off another effort, Takeout Tuesday. So make sure to consider carryout as you plan your meals tomorrow. Russ.
All right, thank you, Jeanelle. Well, the Billings Rimrock Mall has shut its doors and will keep them closed for at least 2 weeks. That decision came today, closes most of the facility until April 6th. All of the common areas in the mall are now closed. Businesses on mall property, but that have separate buildings like Krispy Kreme, Blaze Pizza, and 5 on Black will remain open. And businesses with outward-facing doors like Freefall Brewery and Dillard's will also remain open.
This is obviously a very trying time for the community and the businesses within our community. Getting gift cards from these local businesses at this point in time will kind of help cash registers ring through the uncertainty that we face right now. And then when it comes time to obviously get everybody back out amongst each other, we can all go out in full force. We've been through this before, difficult times, and I have utmost confidence in our ability to come out successful in the end.
Olson says to check hours that the businesses will still be open through this shutdown. You can visit rimrockmall.com. Montana's congressional delegation is now working to get dozens of Montanans back home who are stranded overseas. We spoke to 19-year-old Joe LaFay, who is stranded right now at the Buenos Aires airport in Argentina. He says as soon as he heard the president's call for all Americans to get back home, he and his partner, Graham Hammond, started toward the airport. But they've been met with endless canceled flights. Now the pair is trapped in the airport, wondering if they'll ever make it home.
It could be the next 30 minutes we get on an airplane and get to Toronto and see from there, or we could be stuck here for a couple days or a couple months. So it's really up in the air.
Senator Steve Daines and John Tester are both working to get dozens of Montanans back home. That includes humanitarian flights. Part of those stranded includes 16 Montanans stuck on a Norwegian Jewel cruise ship that recently docked in Hawaii. It's been exactly 1 week since Billings Public Schools were instructed to close their doors by Governor Steve Bullock. Today we checked in with District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham to get an update. He says right now the district's instructional platform is up and running, and now it's all about moving forward. He says the district needs to make sure that students reach proficiency at their grade level by the end of the year.
Probably the biggest question this week is, are we going to extend, or is the governor going to extend the closure? We don't know that. I've said earlier that I anticipate that happening, and that falls into my Tier 2 planning for the district. Tier 1 was the 2 weeks the governor gave the proclamation. Tier 2 would be mid-April. Tier 3 would be the end of the year, and I anticipate that we will go at least into mid-April.
Well, Upham says the district hopes to hear from the governor early this week. As for graduation, he says there have been no decisions on postponement or cancellations of graduation ceremonies. Well, teachers at a handful of Billings schools drove around neighborhoods today to say hello to students who've been stuck inside. We caught up with these teachers from Eagle Cliffs Elementary as they made their way through the Heights. Teachers had messages written on their windows that said things like, "We miss you." Plenty of kids and parents stood in their driveways to wave hello as those teachers drove by. All right, still to come on the 10 o'clock news. New policies coming to the Yellowstone County Boys and Girls Club. We'll have those details coming up next. Plus, a Bozeman distillery finds a creative way to keep its doors open through these tough times. And sports, let's go racing. See how NASCAR stayed in the driver's seat despite there being no actual race.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.